Hello and welcome to the Superhero Hub. I'm Sam,
I'm Matt.
and today we're reviewing.
Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah. Quick question first off the bat: has the intro credits? Have you warmed to them?
I'll just skip them.
Okay. Alright. So this episode's called "The Butcher's Knife Cares Not for the Lamb's Cry." I thought this was a great episode. So yeah, basically, they're minding their own business. They're still trying to get this spore system working, like they were dealing with. Yeah, their big super transportation device that's gonna help win the war. See, I like this episode because I like the kind of the way the series has gone. It's like half Starfleet, half Klingon. You know what I mean? I like the Starfleet bit, and then I like it when it switches over to the Klingons and what they're doing as well.
I do too, but they need to what was that Jack Ryan movie? With
Oh no, I've never seen any of them.
the Hunt for Red October. When they speak Russian, but then they do the whole zooming thing, and then suddenly they're speaking English. You're meant to understand they're still speaking Russian, but you don't have to because, for Christ's sake, there's too much Klingon. I don't mind it in short bursts, but now there's elongated scenes that's doing my nutting. Let's have them speak English. They always did before.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's too. I mean, my main praise would be I like it showing the two sides of the war effort.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like the transition, and also they're not all that different, really. At least in this version.
Mm-hmm. So basically, yeah. So a dilithium mine that they need to power their ships and stuff. Like the big mining planet has been attacked by Klingons, so the USS Discovery are in this massive rush to kind of get this spore system sorted out and zap over there and save the day. But they haven't they've salvaged the bits from the Glen, but they haven't been able to find a way to proper sort it out. Michael's been kind of set to find a way to weaponize the big centipede thing. That at first I thought it looked like a cat last episode, and then it kind of looked like a centipede in this episode, and then later on it just kind of looked like a bear.
Yeah, it does look like it's changing. I wonder if that's part of it. Because when they were showing, explaining its physiology, it seemed to have a certain set, but it seems to be changing as well. I don't know if that's a CGI thing, or maybe it's just because our view's been obscured, it's normally it's rushing past. So now here's the first clear view of what it looks like.
Yeah, so you got that going on, and then over at the Klingons, you've got Voq. His
the albino one.
Yeah. Okay. He needs to get a processing thing because it's apparently it's been 5 months since the battle in the first episode. It's been 5 months after that. They're running out of food and their ship ain't moving, so there's the big debate between them about going over to the Shenzhou and getting the dilithium processor from there and putting it into their ship. So you got that business, and then he's umming and ahhing about that. And then the guy with the face paint who mugged him off in the first couple episodes, he turns up and is like, yeah, I'm on it. I'm your boy, but this is the only ship with cloaking technology, so we need you to sort it out. So I guess Voq swallows his pride and kind of goes over there. There was a bit of Klingon love in the air, if that's correct. There's a bit of sauciness going on there. They grab the thing, come over to the ship, and then the face paint guy is taken over the ship, and then he kind of gets sentenced to death, but his girl hooks him up and he gets sent over to the Shenzhou, and she's like, oh, that's okay, I've stolen a raider, whatever that is, I've hooked you up with a raider. It's like, what's that? Is that like a ship? Is it like whatever? Which is going to take you somewhere so you can hang out with the matriarchs who are going to teach you stuff about yourself that you never thought you could ever know. But it's going to come at a sacrifice, of which is everything. So a lot of very, very vague references or whatever. And then back on the Discovery, you've got Michael with the science guy, who are now kind of buddies now, because they kind of figure out over the course of the thing that like all the equipment and stuff is like the monster, like they call it Ripper, interacts with the spores, and that he turns out to be like the key to getting the whole system working. Like he implants into the system and bonds with the spores, and his like that's what allows him to like do super travel. So yeah, they kind of get that underway, and then they go to the planet, they save everyone, and they send a message to the Klingon army, which is like, I guess they were trying to do with the thing like when you see them all crying and they look up and they're like, oh, who saved us? And they're like, don't know who, because they zapped out of there real quick. I guess word's going to spread back or whatever, video footage of like the ship being there and then zapping out of there and mullering them all.
It will, but also at this point what I still can't work out, and what I'm interested to find out, is how do the Federation publicly feel about what the Discovery is doing? Because yes, it's a war, but they are still meant to be like a peace envoy, and this is basically a warship for all day. It's going to pop up like a bird of prey and like kill people. So that's because they also had this in this episode. What's the captain's name? Lorca,
Gabriel Lorca.
With because that probably the best scene in the episode for me anyway. It was kind of dope, where the monster thing breaks out and kills that woman, right?
Yeah, Muller's that.
Yeah, but that was kind of brought about by him indirectly. But it was that if I read the scene right, maybe you saw it differently. But he gave this talk over the thing about how we need to basically saying if this is war, we need to push ourselves, we need to blah blah blah, and then that made them take a risk for the monster thing, which then breaks out and kills her.
Yeah.
But the end justifies the means because they get there and they save them.
That was her own fault for not listening. I mean, the knockout gas didn't even work. I mean, she didn't even wait and check. She just activates it and then goes in there, and it's like clearly whatever. And then she goes out and starts popping off fat rounds at it. It's like, oh, she deserved that. Well, yeah, it's very cold, because it seemed like they were tight and stuff like that, and it was just like, oh, whatever.
Exactly, I agree. It's of her doing as well, but that's never something. I don't mean this as a complaint, but that's never something Kirk or Picard would do.
I kind of like him because there's no nonsense. I like the simulation bit at the start where he was just mugging them off, like, yeah, do it again this time, get it right and stuff like that. It's very no nonsense.
I like him too. I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting to watch. It's just very different.
He's more of a. I mean, this is obviously what they're going there, so I am stating the obvious here. I'm not being, like, deep or whatever. He's more of a general than he is a captain.
Yeah, he's a wartime captain. This is the kind of captain where in TNG or something, Picard would hunt this guy down and stop him and report him. Because they're in a war, this is the kind of captain they need. But what I'm saying is, like, long-term, how will this affect Star Trek? Because he probably won't be viewed as a hero for the crap he might end up doing. Well, he hasn't crossed the line yet, but if he carries on doing what he's doing, he's going to cross the line at some point.
Well, maybe that's a transitional thing. Maybe he's going to transition to this cold guy and stuff like that, and then doing these things. Then maybe he's going to cross the line and take a look at himself and be like, okay, I need to start calming this down. And then maybe he's going to be a little warmer, you know what I mean? Maybe hanging out, because like it's like Michael, you know what I mean? When she first got onto the Shenzhou, and she was all like proper like Vulcan and stuff like that, and then like over time she kind of warmed up and stuff like that, you know.
Right, but then she still ended up doing something that no one in Starfleet would ever actually should do, which is turn on their captain, which is why she's a prisoner in the first place. I imagine that's why Lorca got her.
I feel like if she didn't have her up group, if she didn't have the personal gripe against the Klingons, that wouldn't have happened. You know what I mean? She would have been she would have been less inclined to do that. So you can put that down to a slight emotional blip. So yeah.
But with Lorca, it's a case of like, if he goes down the route that he's going down now, is he really any better than the Klingons? You know, that's the kind of the philosophical debate. The idea of
maybe that's the direction.
Klingons.
Maybe that's what they're pushing us to in the as viewers. They want us to see that, which is hot. So yeah, I like him, no nonsense. And then you've got the whole thing with Michael looking at the Ripper and stuff like that and seeing this in pain. You got all that going down. I don't think anyone's really gonna care. Obviously, the science guy don't care. She's the only one who's clocking. So now I'm sitting there thinking, is she gonna do something else dumb now? Is she gonna let it out or something like that, or get like put it somewhere safe, so like whatever? And
maybe I think it's also kind of a way for her to have someone to talk to, even if they can't talk back. Like, it's a way to soften the character, because she's still kind of awkward around all the other people. Even someone she's like that weird girl she's in the room with, even the science guy, they're vaguely friendly but not really.
Yeah, and she's still beefing with Saru. Saru needs to make his mind up, man. It is like he backtracks a lot. Like he kind of like backhandedly gave the recommendation last episode. Now he's completely like writing it off this episode. It's like, come on, man. They're gonna be friends. Like, knock it off, Saru.
What's her rank?
No rank.
She can't be a first officer anymore. No rank, but she's got the.
Because they said at the start, they kind of did a rundown with her costume and stuff. Like, she's got no badge or nothing. It's like rank nothing. She's just like a helping hand. She's kind of like a mercenary, but you know what I mean. They've just brought on to do odd jobs and just be like blame free. But I haven't really got her to do anything questionable yet. And then obviously she gets a last will and testament of the captain, and it's a telescope.
Yeah.
Don't know what she's going to do with that.
Because it's Star Trek and they, discover stuff, I guess. It was a bit heavy-handed.
Maybe she can whack someone around the head with it. Who knows? That would be cool. Yeah, I'm way into it. I think it's kind of cool. I like bits of it. Yeah. Let's talk numbers. What do you feel about the show so far? We're 4 episodes in. Be real, man.
I like it.
Okay.
But it's not Star Trek. And I'm okay with that.
Do you like that more because...
No, I don't. I love TNG. I'll watch that any day. I'm just, it's 2017. They want to do something different. Why not go for it? Like I said, my only issue before was they're launching this whole app based on a Star Trek show. That's not really like a Star Trek show. I think that's a bit weird, but hell, I don't care. I'm not paying for it, so...
If it's a hit, it's a hit, and it might give them more confidence to bring in new stuff with a dynamic twist to it that they might not. So some of your other favourite shows from the past might come back. Don't ask me what they are, because I don't know CBS is broadcasting, but it's a step in the right direction for broadcasting in general. Let's talk numbers.
I'll go 7.5.
I'll give it an 8.
Yeah?
Upper echelon good, you know what I mean? Yeah, they're definitely... I like the captain. I want to see... We got a better look at him doing stuff. You know what I mean? Like being a captain, being a general, as it were. So I'd like to see more of that, because the episode before he was just like doing clandestine talks with people. It's like, I want him on the bridge. I want to see him, doing it big.
Yeah, that training sequence is good, where he took control, and that was cool. I think they need to flesh out the rest of the crew a bit more. And maybe the issue of having such a serialised focus show means you can't do that. When the other Star Trek shows, there was 20-odd episodes, so this episode could be a Worf episode, this episode could be about Data or Doctor, whoever you want to focus on. But on this show, because it's such a serialized thing, at least so far, they don't seem to have enough room to explore that weird girl who she's in a room with. We don't really know much about her or anyone else, so maybe a bit more development on that.
She's getting fleshed. They're like all being fleshed out real slowly. You know what I mean? Because you had Tilly last episode and you had her this episode. Now we've kind of got they're all kind of getting fleshed out at the same rate. You know what I mean? Because we've obviously had two episodes with Tilly and stuff like that. That's the more intimate stuff. And then in terms of the professional stuff, you got that science guy. Now they're like best buddies. But I'm interested to see where.
Also, we had 2 episodes where she wasn't even on the Discovery anyway.
Yeah, and we're kind of. I'd like to see what they're going to do with their relationship with Ripper, because obviously she's got an issue with that, or whether they're going to kind of lock horns over that. But that's like to be with anything. So I think, yeah, they're fleshing characters out, but they're doing it at a pace, you know what I mean? So by the time we kind of get to the season finale, we know who everyone is. We're all tight with everything, so then it can go all guns blazing into season 2 and be even better.
I hope so.
I'm Sam.
I'm Matt.
And this is the Superhero Hub. See you next time.